Hi everyone, we are back in our kitchen for our second series this year of our Southern Cooks video series. And today we have our CEO Leah Poole, and we've got twin sisters Allie and Andrea, and they are going to be making strawberries and dumplings with a white chocolate
whipped
cream. All right, so take it away.
Hello everyone, we do have Allie and Andrea with us today. You girls want to introduce yourselves? I know I introduced you, but you can say who you are. They don't know which one is which.
Hi, I'm Allison, and this is Andrea. I'm Andrea.
And this is Allison. It's like on a tour. I'm going to take them on a tour, a comedy tour. Today we are going to actually make a recipe from this month's Garden and Good magazine. It's strawberries and dumplings with a white chocolate whipped cream. It's not anything that I've ever made before, so we've experimented a little and taken a few things and made it our own. This is a recipe from Kelly Fields. She owns a restaurant in New Orleans called Willa. She's a pastry chef, but her restaurant serves other food as well. So we're going to get started. The first thing the girls are going to do is wash the strawberries, and while they're washing the strawberries, they're going to wash their hands. And I'm going to try to be as hands-off as possible because we have walked through all the steps, so you actually get to see them doing everything. But we're excited to try this. We did make it one day last week just to make sure we got all the steps right so we weren't live and embarrassing ourselves. It is very, very good. The whipped cream itself is really sweet, and the strawberry and dumplings are really tart to me, but it's a good combination. Alrighty. And what the girls are going to do is they're going to cut the tops off the strawberries, and then the big strawberries they're going to quarter, and the smaller strawberries, speak your honey, they're going to do in half. So some of the great big giant ones, they'll end up quartering. And then they're going to toss the strawberries in our bucket over there, our bowl. And we are using, I don't know, Berry Boss strawberries. It's whatever our local Walmart neighborhood market had. And when we end up, we're going to have about 6 cups of chopped strawberries, which is about 2 to 3 pints. The recipe does call for fresh strawberries, not frozen. So I don't know how it would turn out with frozen. I'm assuming probably not good. You girls like strawberries?
Yes.
All right. And they're excited to try. I'm going to make sure they're not chopping their fingers off. And you see that Andrea's got a little bit bigger, Allie's got a little bit bigger strawberries, so she's putting that one in quarters. I'm going to get some of the green stuff out of there. That one doesn't want to come off. They're going to, oh, yep, don't throw the green part in there. They said I make them nervous, so that's why I'm really nervously watching those knives. I don't want to lose a finger. Their mom might frown on their fingers going away. While the girls are doing that, I'm going to grab the sugar. Not a big one for measuring, so the recipe calls for about a 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm just going to sprinkle what I feel like is a 1/4 cup of sugar on top of these strawberries. And I don't think too much sugar is going to hurt anything. So we've got our sugar, and then we also are going to use a vanilla bean. And if you've never seen a real vanilla bean, here is your opportunity to do so. I'm assuming that the lady who created this recipe used real vanilla beans because the flavor is a lot more intense than using vanilla extract. This is what a real vanilla bean looks like if you've never seen one. Put it on the white there, it might be a little easier. And when the girls are done with that, we're going to get the vanilla out of the vanilla bean. And then they are going to need some butter. And the recipe calls for some Germain liqueur, not real high in the grocery aisle in Liberty County, Georgia. So we substituted, and we're using Stella Artois, which is a beer from Belgium, and it still has a little citrusy flavor. So I'm assuming that's what she was going for with the Germain, because it is a citrus type liqueur. And it calls for 1 tablespoon. We used a little bit more than a tablespoon. You probably use closer to 2 tablespoons. But the alcohol will cook off, so you're not going to get 12-year-olds drunk. Or the 13-year-olds. How old? 13 or 13. So we're going to let the alcohol cook off. We'll just still have some of the flavor in there. And they're almost done with the strawberries. You girls like to cook? You have to talk too, not just me.
Yes, I love to cook.
You love to cook? What is your favorite thing to cook?
making sushi burritos.
How do you make a sushi burrito?
Well, me and my dad, we go to the local Asian market and we get seaweed wraps, and usually they're bigger, and you just make big sushis and call it a burrito.
Ah. Is that what y'all have for dinner sometimes?
Sometimes.
I see some of the pictures that your mom posts of dinner. She doesn't post very many pictures when she cooks dinner. She posts more pictures when Dad cooks dinner. Is Dad the cook?
Yes. I mean, my mom's cooking's not as bad.
It's not as bad. Or not as good?
It's not as bad.
Not as good. Okay. It's okay. She's not going to get mad.
It's kind of cool because I watched my dad cook, and he watched his dad cook, so that's where he learned how to cook.
Ah, so generations of your family.
Yes, ma'am.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to clean up a little bit while y'all keep going, just so we can get the strawberry pieces out of the way. Go ahead. You're good. And these are good if you compost. You can take them and compost with them. They are very acidic though, so if your compost is already acidic, you might want to avoid them. Okay, I'm going to get some of this water up. Alright, the next thing we need is our Willa bean done, and then we need 2 tablespoons of butter. You want to try the vanilla bean?
Yeah.
I'm going to borrow this knife for just a little bit because it's a lot sharper than this one is. Okay. You want to use that knife. Be careful with your fingers. Alright, you want to chop our butter up? And we have to chop the butter. It says to mince it. We're not going to mince the butter. It's a little more labor intensive. We just cut it up in chunks. You got it?
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
You want some help?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, vanilla beans are really skinny, and what I've seen is if you take the tip of your knife and do it, and I still end up getting a lot of it under my fingernails. This is what the inside looks like if you've never seen a real vanilla bean. And then we're going to scrape the inside. And then it kind of looks like caviar almost. It's just finer. We're going to get it in there. It's not real easy to get off your fingers either. And then I'm going to scrape the other way so we can get all the vanilla out of there. And again, you don't have smell-o-vision, but we can certainly smell it, and it's a very intense vanilla smell. So you can imagine how much more flavor it has. Alright, if you guys can see in there, we have in there is our 2 tablespoons of Stella. We've got, what, 2 tablespoons of butter. We've got our vanilla and then our strawberries and some sugar, about a 1/4 cup of sugar. And the ladies are going to stir it up for us. Good. I'm going to get some cold butter out of the refrigerator. And the recipe says to set this aside for about an hour to let the strawberries, they start creating their own juice. So that's why I put a little bit more of the beer in there than what the recipe called for, because we don't have time to sit here and let the strawberries sit for an hour. So we're creating our own juices. But you can see in the bottom how it's already starting to form. Let me tip it so they can see. You see the juice in there? It's from the strawberries and the beer and everything else. It starts reacting and breaking the strawberries down. Alright, so we're going to set that aside. Yep. And we are going to find another bowl, which I forgot about. We're going to find another bowl, and we are going to make biscuits. Here, scooch that way. Be on camera. Alright, we need 5 tablespoons of cold butter. We have to cut it up the same way we did the last one. Let's see if I can find a bigger bowl. Transfer the strawberries to this one. Alright, and the girls are just trying to get the butter broken up into pieces as small as they can get it. Oh, we got a green strawberry piece in there. And this is a recipe we thought would be good for Valentine's Day. So if you haven't already decided what to fix your sweetheart for Valentine's Day, this would be a good option. It's pretty easy. Not very labor intensive. I think the chopping of the butter and the dough probably the two most labor intensive pieces. Alrighty. Alright, and we are using cake flour for our dumplings, and we need 2 cups of cake flour. So if you put that in there, I will grab you the other box. Cake flour, in case you've never used it before, is very fine flour, which the girls have learned. I asked them if their dad used rice flour, because it's not like rice flour. So it's not always easy to work with, because it does tend to splatter even more than regular flour. Alright, so we're using 2 cups of cake flour, and we have discovered, because we've done this already, to make sure we didn't mess up, is that 2 cups of flour with the amount of buttermilk she calls for is not enough flour. At least for us, we're not pastry chefs. Buttermilk. So 2 cups? Alright, dump it in your red bowl. Alright, so we've got that. We're going to put our butter in there. And we need baking powder, salt. Alright, the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of baking powder. We'll get you a measuring spoon. I would not typically measure it. I'm not measuring it with a real spoon. So let's do like 2.5 of those. Yep, there you go. And we're going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar in there, about a tablespoon, and then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of salt in there. Do y'all remember what I told you earlier? Why do we do the baking powder and the salt?
So it can pop up when it's in the oven?
Yep. It makes it rise. It makes a chemical reaction, which Miss Walden taught me in chemistry. Miss Walden is Aaron's mom. She's a teacher. Okay, and then we need a cup of buttermilk. And we discovered earlier, like I said when we did this, that this is a lot of liquid for not a lot of solid. So when we do this part, we're probably going to have to add more flour. So let's push all this. I'll move it out of the way. Alrighty, you want to mix? Yep. And this is the dirty part of this job. They have to do this with their hands. If you've ever made biscuits before, you know how much fun it is to get your hands dirty. And they're squishing up the butter while they do this. So while we didn't mince the butter, we're still integrating it with the flour and the sugar and the baking powder and the salt. So everything is being mixed together. Y'all stay up there's fine. I'm just gonna get this out of the oven because I can smell it. Alright, and again they have 5 tablespoons of cold butter, 2 cups of cake flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and then a cup of buttermilk. You think y'all need more flour? Or what you thinking?
More flour.
More flour. You see how gummy it is? Hold in your hand. See how gummy it's sticking to their hands? I don't know if a pastry chef could do that better, but we are not skilled enough. It's sticking to our hands way too much. So anybody who's ever made biscuits, you know you want your dough to be a little bit more elastic than that. You don't want it to stick to your hands quite that bad, because when you turn it out, you're not going to have a whole lot of biscuits left. All your biscuits are going to be sticking to your fingers. How's it looking?
Sticky.
Sticky? Told them they got to do this part this time because I did it the last time. It's the fun part. How are we looking? Let's see. Maybe scrape some of the flour off the sides there, just down in there. There you go.
This is so good.
And I think the reason she probably uses cake flour is because it does make the biscuits more cake-like. They're not quite as dense as a biscuit made with flour. And since this is a dessert and not a savory dish, that would be my guess. Add just a little bit more. I'm still having some issues there with the sticking. Alright, how do we feel like it's going? Sticking. You want to scrape it off your hands? Here, I can help you with the scraper. You want me to give it a couple of turns and get it out for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's See, and see this is very, very sticky. Yeah, I think that's probably about all I'm gonna get off your hands. Yeah. All right, go wash your hands and let's try to get it off of yours. It's very, very sticky. Like I'm scraping a cake. You good? All right. Now they're gonna go wash. Excuse me. Probably not gonna have as well. We might have enough biscuits. We'll see how many we're gonna have. Just because a good bit of it did get stuck on their hands. We're gonna put some of the cake flour on our counter. And I'm gonna try to get the dough to form a ball if we can. So see, it's more like biscuit dough if you've ever made biscuits. So we're gonna smoosh this out a little bit, and then the girls are gonna roll it around some and knead it in some of the flour. We're not gonna have to use all of this right now, I don't think. So, oops, sorry. Roll it around some in there. There you go. They're doing exactly what I showed them to do. Very good. All right, let's push some of that flour away from there. We don't want to get it too dry. There you go. All right, why don't we use our rolling pin and we're gonna roll it out. You might want to put a little bit of flour on your rolling pin. There you go. That just keeps it from sticking. You roll both ways, towards you and away from you. There you go. Very good. You don't have to press down real hard. It's biscuit dough, not pavement. All right, this is our very fancy biscuit cutter, and that's how we got really round biscuits, is our coffee cup. We're gonna, here, get in there and do one. And let's put them over here when we get them cut out.
Okay.
All right, and grab it up and stick it over there. There we go. Very good. You got it. You want to let Allie do one? It's okay, and it doesn't matter if they're not perfect. You want to do? It really doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong way. Biscuits eat. Doesn't matter. Good job. Yeah, we can get that one out of there. It's okay. We got that one. We're gonna put it all back together and roll it out one more time. Remember, it's not pavement, so we don't have to roll real hard. I'm not trying to lay sidewalks. There you go. You might want to put some more flour. We're sticking a little bit. Let's put some flour on top. There you go. There you go. And we're doing about 1/4 of an inch thick. Again, no real rhyme or reason. I don't even know that she told us how thick to do it, but that's generally how I was taught. Yeah, it's sticky still. That's okay. That's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. And that's probably going to be enough for what we need. So we have preheated our oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to move this out the way for you. And if you, one of you will grab the dish over there. Yes. Just sit it down wherever. We're going to pour our strawberries in there. Which are strawberries, butter, vanilla bean, 2 tablespoons of Stella, and butter. I think it's and a little bit of sugar. Oh, we found another green. Let me stick it in there. And we are going to find my spatula. What do we do with spatula? We have lost the spatula.
Okay.
That's okay.
It's in that bowl, yeah.
We can use the spoon. We're just gonna try to even it out a little bit. And the chef that created this recipe, she says use any darn dish you want to. So that's what we're doing. She said her preference is to use cast iron, which we have one pre-made for you that we're going to show you in a few minutes, and we did use cast iron for that one, but we didn't want to waste our ingredients, so we're actually going to cook this one as well. So the girls are going to put the biscuits on top, trying to maximize the amount of space that we have in there. I'm going to get you your pastry brush. And then they're gonna take a brush and some more buttermilk, and they're gonna brush the tops of the biscuits. Very good. And it's so quiet.
Yeah.
You should talk. I don't have to talk all the time, believe it or not.
Did you ever make something like this? Like,
I really do like to cook, yes. I have never made anything quite like this before, but it is an interesting recipe. It is very interesting. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna stick it in the oven, and depending on the dish, it says for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. To err on the side of caution for this one, we're gonna put it in there for 45 minutes, so somebody will set the timer. And while that is cooking, I'll remember how to do it. We are going to make our white chocolate whipped cream, which we have also pre-made. Alright, I think I shut it. They'll start beeping at us. We've actually pre-made one of those, but we're going to go ahead and make it again just so you see the steps. We're going to get another measuring cup, a clean one. Measuring cup. And we need 2 1/4 cups of heavy whipping cream. There it is. 2 1/4. I keep merging into my area here. Stay where the camera is. 2 1/4. If we need another one, we've got another one here. I think it probably will. Get the top off of it. Have y'all ever made whipped cream before today?
yeah.
Yes.
But no.
Good. 2 1/4, but not what? You're gonna go all the way up to there. Alrighty. And then we're gonna pour that in our pot. And we are going to use another vanilla bean. Go ahead and get it open. Oh, I should do that with my teeth. My dentist is probably frowning right now. Don't do it with your teeth because your mom will probably kill you too. Vanilla beans are very expensive. So we're going to, yep. Does anybody want to try this one? That's right. Use the tip of the knife. Don't cut it away from you like that. Let's hold it like this. You do that part, I'll hold this part. Just don't cut my fingers off. Please. I'm gonna move my finger. There you go. We're just gonna open it up a little bit, and then we can scrape it with the knife. Yep, just like that. And then we're gonna put it in the pot. I'm gonna find our spatula again that I keep misplacing.
I like the smell there.
We are not clean cooks, if you haven't noticed. And this isn't really a very clean recipe. It requires some getting dirty. I think we've got some more in there that we can probably scrape out. But as expensive as these things are, we don't want to waste any of it. There you go. Very good. There you go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take it over to the stove. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to take it over there and turn the heat on 8. And we are going to get it all the way to a boil, to where it's starting to froth up. And there, we're going to use the bowls. Let me wash them.
It looks like board.
Y'all have to talk while you're over there, because I'm not over there to talk for you.
It's like cookie and cream. It smells really good. It's like too really. Does it get hot quickly?
No. Samantha watching?
Not that I can tell.
You guys can still say hello to Samantha.
Hi, Sam.
And tell them who Sam is.
Sam's my big sister.
And she just moved to,
Pennsylvania.
it's like pulling teeth, guys, pulling teeth.
Come on,
All right.
girls.
While one of them is doing the heavy cream with the vanilla, we are going to take some white baker's chocolate, and the recipe calls for 6 ounces. And we are going to break it up into our bowl. It doesn't have to be in little pieces, it can just be in chunks. See what kind of chunks. We have the smaller chunks than that, sister. Just like you did last time. You got it, or you need help? There you go. Okay, and the part of this recipe, you can just leave it over there. That was kind of scary to me was the gelatin part, because it said to use leaf gelatin, which I had never heard of before, and you cannot find in Huntsville, Georgia. So instead we got unflavored Knox gelatin, which essentially is the same thing. And we're going to use 1 packet, and we're going to dump it in there with our chocolate. I'd never seen whipped cream made this way before. I thought it was very interesting, and it turns out really good. This was the part of the recipe that really intimidated me, was using an ingredient I've never used before. And while we wait on that to boil, we're going to go ahead and make our real whipped cream. So I'm going to grab that out of the fridge. The recipe says to let this stay in your refrigerator overnight, because we don't have overnight. We cheated and we put it in the freezer for about an hour, and that's what it looked like. And this is just everything we're doing here, which we'll go back to as soon as it boils. We're just going to pour it on top of the chocolate and the gelatin and mix it up. So if you're following the recipe, you would just put it in the refrigerator overnight. If you want to do it the fast and cheating way, you can put it in the freezer for about an hour and it gets good and cold. It's not frozen. And we're going to use our KitchenAid, but we also put our attachment in the refrigerator, again, to make it cold. So, you want to attach it? Yep, just stick it in there. Oh, you have to turn it. Yep, and then push it and turn it. There you go. And we're going to put our bowl in there, and we're going to turn it onto 2 to start with. And we'll let them come closer so you can see, and then you can turn it up just a little bit more. And if you ever made whipped cream, you know it starts getting frothier, whipping. You want to come see too? You want to see? I'm going to turn it up some more. We just let it whip. Just have to stand there and watch it. You can see little pieces of vanilla bean in there.
Christina Rucker says, Leah, if y'all deliver samples to your members, don't forget Jones Medical. We want to sample.
Sorry. No deliveries today. Oh, and you can see it starting to look like whipped cream now. It's like Cool Whip in the bowl. Oh, it's just like Cool Whip. It's a white chocolate whipped cream. It's really good. We can see back over here, our pot is getting ready to boil. It's not quite boiling yet. And that's the 2 1/4 cups of heavy cream and a vanilla bean. And then in the bowl, we've got 6 ounces of white chocolate and 1 package of unflavored Knox gelatin. And as soon as that's boiling and to a frothy state, we're going to pour it in here and it'll melt all the chocolate and integrate with the gelatin. Oh, look at it. It's with the cream. Let's get a bean. I think waste. And you see, it looks really good. Try it.
Tastes really good.
It does taste really good. So we've got our whipped cream, and here is our finished strawberry and dumplings that we made a little bit earlier in the cast iron skillet. You can see how pretty it is, and if we can grab our magazine, thank you, ma'am. You can see it looks almost identical, except her pan is a little bit different than the pan that we used. And she staged it, of course. Up, and we're boiling over here. So we can turn that heat off. And we're gonna pour, maybe put this over here. Pour it in there carefully, don't burn yourself. Alright. Good job, good job. You can set it back on the stove on the back. There you go. And you're gonna stir it again very carefully so as not to slosh on yourself. I'm not worried about sloshing anywhere else, just on you. And we just want to get all that chocolate melted and then all the gelatin integrated into the heavy cream. And again, if you're taking the easy route with this, the next step would be to stick it in the freezer for about an hour till it gets good and cold. I would recommend a metal bowl just because it gets colder faster than a plastic bowl. If you're going to follow the recipe exactly, you're going to want to stick it in the refrigerator overnight. We didn't have that kind of time, so we did the quick and fast way, and it worked just fine. And she's just making sure all the chocolate is melted and all the gelatin is integrated. And it'll be good. You feel like it's good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I'll take it and stick it in the refrigerator in just a minute. We'll have to make room for it. You can just leave the spoon in there. So let's head back over this way. Y'all can stand with our finished product, and we'll remind everybody what we did. So what did we do? It's like quiz time.
First, we got strawberries, and we cut them, and if they were bigger, to 4 pieces, and if they're a little smaller, 2 pieces.
That's about 6 cups of strawberries.
Yeah, and then after that, we got some
Sugar
and
vanilla
bean, and we cut the vanilla bean open, and we got all like the insides of it, and we put it in there and started mixing.
We did butter too.
Oh yeah, butter.
And we did a little bit of Stella Artois because the recipe called for Germain liqueur, which is a citrus flavored liquor, and we couldn't find it here anywhere, so we used our own version. Okay.
And then
how do we make the dumplings?
we got some butter, flour, we got cake flour.
Yep, cake
Just
flour.
regular flour.
Buttermilk.
And buttermilk and
And what was our chemical reaction?
baking soda.
Baking
Soda
baking
and
powder.
salt.
Was it baking powder or baking soda? Baking powder. And sugar and a little bit of salt. And then what did y'all do with it from there?
Well, we kind of kneaded it like a little
Kneaded
bit.
it.
Kneaded it, and it was really sticky, so we added more flour.
Yes.
And we put it on the counter, and we made it into more like a dough, and we rolled it out, and we cut some with a cup.
It's our fancy biscuit cutter. Get the language.
Fancy cutter. Fancy biscuit cutter.
Yes.
And then after that, we put it on the strawberries and everything else, and we put it on top, and then we put it in the oven.
For 350 for about 45 minutes.
And after that, we made the whipping cream.
How do we do that?
Whipped cream. We got some white chocolate, and we cut it in pieces, and we added.
We did the heavy cream with the vanilla on the saucepan, and we got it to a boil. And we poured it over the top of 6 ounces of white chocolate and an envelope of Knox gelatin. So we did it with some gelatin. And what we're gonna do now, while we're still on, is let our 2 chefs taste their masterpiece. So I'm gonna grab a plate here. Since they haven't gotten to taste it yet. I won't scooch behind you, man. Sorry. I grab a spoon. Alright, there's your spoons. And let's see what they think about their dessert they've created here. some strawberries. And this is obviously very warm, so be careful. And whoever takes the first one, just wait for your sister. Hold on. Do you both at the same time? I don't know why the strawberries turn purple, but I think it's an interesting concept. It's very interesting. Alright, be careful because it's very hot. So we can see what you guys think about your creation here. Yeah, sorry, the paper plates and be careful, don't burn your tongue. What do you think? It's good. You like it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you took the little teeny bite and she took great big gargantuan bite. And now they're gonna keep eating. You wanna tell everybody goodbye before you keep eating?
Yes, thank you for watching. And I guess goodbye.
Goodbye.
Until next time, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.